still left without their power, their water, their food. Our next guest, Alexandria Arroyo, is a Hunter College graduate who was living on the island at the time.
So her father, who lives here, had not heard from her for days after the hurricane. So he caught the first flight that he could out to Puerto Rico to find her. They're both here. He found her, Alexandra and Elijah. Nice to have you here. By the way, did you have any idea where your daughter was living in Puerto Rico?
I only knew the town of Sabana Grande, which is on the southwest part of the island, but not too much more after that. Basic idea, no address. I was given some directions through Google Maps and created some form to get there. And I figured hopefully the car will take me all the way. If it doesn't, I'll take the car as far as it can take me, and I'll walk the rest.
And meanwhile, you had not heard from her. You were trying to call her on the cell phone.
Correct. We knew at the beginning that we wouldn't hear from her for a few days, but by the fourth day, that was four too many.
It's incredible that you were able to get out and to get there. I mean, that in itself just speaks to your determination to get your daughter.
Well, when you have faith and you go for it, things open doors. My original flight was canceled. Somehow I ended up being rebooked on a flight full of first responders and journalists. Very few civilians, but again, I was meant to be there.
Yeah, not a lot of people wanted to go to Puerto Rico at this point. Right. All right. So, Alexandra, tell us about your experience in Puerto Rico after the hurricane hit.
Sure. So I was there living in San Juan when Irma hit and lost my power, and was part of 8% of the population that never got the power back. So for the second storm, I got a call from a friend who I'd met through my cousin, insisting that I go and stay in the southwest part of the island, which is a town where the island was not, a part of the island where the was not expected to be hit
that was
directly.
For your safety, that they wanted you to go there.
Exactly. So I went and I stood with the Nasarios, and they were so generous. And the day after the storm,
did it hit there?
It did hit the entire island, but it was not along the eye of the storm. So the destruction the next day was nothing compared to what we saw when we went along the northern part of the island.
And when your dad pulled up in a car, what happened?
What was your reaction?
Well, in the days after the storm, my friend and I would look up at the sky to see if there were planes, because we didn't even know if the airports were open. So I hadn't seen any, so I would have never, ever anticipated my father coming to get me.
Yeah.
I was completely
You were
stunned.
working at sort of a farm-to-table restaurant, or?
Yes. I was. I went to Puerto Rico because I wanted to start my own farm, and was living and working on farms for a little while, and was connected to a farm-to-table restaurant by one of the farmers I was working with. And so I was doing that for about the past 7 months, and got my apartment. It's the first time I was living away from home, and I built an entire life for myself there. So.
But your father, you realize what your father went through to find you?
Oh.
He's never going to let you forget this, by the way.
Are you an only child?
No, I have a younger brother.
All right.
So were you like shocked when you see your dad driving up in the town?
Oh, completely. I was upstairs and I heard a shout, and when I looked out the window and saw him, I was floored.
What kind of feeling did you get when you saw him?
I froze. I just completely froze. I just remember like covering my face, and my friend was like, "What happened?" I was like, "My dad is outside of this house right now."
Did you run to each other? Yes.
ran to him, hugged him, and told him that I've been okay. Everything is okay here, and that's what the message that I wish I could have said to them the day after the storm hit. And not being able to communicate with my family was personally the most difficult part of this storm. Not the sound of the hurricane passing over the house or anything that we experienced afterwards. Just not being able to communicate with them and seeing no service on my phone was a gut-wrenching feeling.
You must have great faith also, right?
No doubt about it. I knew that she was okay. I didn't fear for her life. I knew she was safe, but it was time to get together.
Some people would think maybe you're a little crazy to do this, you know what I mean? Just like slightly. I would have done the same thing. I would have done the same thing.
Right.
But I'm a little off too.
We're New Yorkers.
So, like, did anybody say, well, people are trying to get out of Puerto Rico, you're going to Puerto Rico? go?
Surprising enough, no, I haven't heard the word crazy as of yet, but it's just a pure definition of love. It was a no-brainer. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, wouldn't you do it? Wouldn't you do it? It's the thing to do. We're a family. We need to be complete, and we weren't at that moment. So, there was no sweat. It was an easy decision. I knew I had to go.
Are you going to let her go back?
Well, that's a great question. Is that my decision? Right? She is over 18, but she's following her heart, and that's the big picture here. She has a heart of giving, and what things evolve. So, nothing is by coincidence. So we're not here.
Yeah, that's.
Are you going back?
I am.
You are.
I am. It's I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm still trying to cope with the fact that everything's been turned upside down. I would have never anticipated that I'd be packing up my apartment and coming back. But once you've seen too much, it's hard to kind of go on with life in any normal kind of way. I have to go back. We're just waiting for things to settle down.
What a beautiful story. A
Yeah,
father
so
and
nice
his
to-
daughter.
so nice
He
to
got her out of harm's way.
All right. Thank you. All the best. Whatever you decide to do, take your time thinking about it.
That's
I don't want to have your father go over there again.
All right.
Alexandra and Elijah Maria, thank you so much. All right, good day. We'll take a little break. We'll talk about this. You would have done the same thing.
I would have done for my daughters, absolutely. You did the right thing and you know it.